a part of the media at that point of time that probably didn't want my first film to do well also. It's like a pull down mechanism, but दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो ही जाता है. I was to be very choosy earlier, and I realized that okay, those films didn't work. I did the right thing by not doing those films. But इतना क्यों seriously लेना अपने आप को कि आप it's okay अगर कुछ फिल्में गलत भी आ जाती हैं. At least you are in the audience's eye.
We'll quickly play a short game, actor's name, and you have to describe them in a word. Kareena Kapoor, Malika Sherawat, Ajay Devgan, Ritesh Deshmukh, Imran Hashmi, Sanjay Dutt. But do you think any one project of yours which has not got the due it should have got it?
I think eventually Lakshmi got its due on OTT and satellite. Yeah. But it didn't have a box office number to boast of. So people, there is a certain section that feels it didn't do well, and then there's a certain section that feels that did well, because satellite or OTT से numbers नहीं आते. तो आप कितना भी ढिंडोरा पीटो, no one believes it unless you have that 300 crores, 400 crores that it ran in the theaters. So I think that's something that it missed out, and it did so well on satellite and so well on OTT that I think till today it's the highest viewed film that came directly on OTT. Till today, since the pandemic, I think from 2005 years में उससे, और वो चली थी जब OTT का इतना क्रेज भी नहीं था, अभी तो व्यूअरशिप बहुत बढ़ गया है. तो जब हॉटस्टार पे आई थी तब उसने जितने व्यूज़ किए वो आज तक कोई बीट नहीं कर पाया. But that validation hasn't come in. So I think it didn't get its due credit of success.
The cast was superb.
Cast was superb, and I think it was Akshay sir's best performance. Yeah. All's well that ends well. At least it got released well on OTT.
Did you experience that pressure of box office that time?
No, we were very looking forward to releasing it on Eid, and there was no pressure. There was excitement. We were expecting it to do well because everything was going in favor of the film, and the first look had got a great reaction, and then the pandemic happened. But it did well on OTT and did well on satellite, and it reached its mass audience, the wider audience and the deep mass audience, and I'm proud of that film for sure, and I'm glad I made it.
Early days, the media were not, were not very harsh with you, to be very honest, in the early days of yours. But I want to ask today, for the star kids, is it easy or tough? Because there's a social media as well.
I think there is a good and bad side to everything.
Okay.
So there is a section like in those days which is trying to pull you down. And then there is another section that is very fair and square. So it's a mix of both. So I don't think anyone or anybody has it easier or harder. But yeah, there is a section that wants to pull down those whom they think are a little more privileged than the others. But at the end of the day, I think we all have to do our work and let our work do the talking. So no one is privileged at the end of the day. So it's important to let the audience do their bit. They will decide, they will judge, they will give you that report card. Why are we making so much noise about the who's who, and so-and-so should not get this credit and so-and-so should not get that credit? I think there's too much noise. It's important to block that noise from the social media. I think it's important to have an understanding of what the audience feels, yeah.
But you kept on going. That time I want to ask, how was your mental being that time? How did you went through that कि नहीं मुझे तो करना है, करते रहना है उस वक्त?
Yeah, I think I was studying abroad, and my work ethic has always been such that, at the end of the day, you have to finish your job, do your work and go home. What is happening other than that might have some reality or truth to it, but it's not the final gospel truth. When the movie is out, we will know what the final outcome is and what people think. So I think that kept me going. Maybe I knew that there is a part of the media at that point of time that probably didn't want my first film to do well also. They were not happy with the fact that I was doing my first movie and I got it on my own. It wasn't a home production. So they didn't like the fact that, I managed to get such a good big banner film entirely on merit. So it's like a pull down mechanism, but you can't pull anybody down as long as you're hardworking and as long as you make or create or work on content that the audience likes, because they are the god. They are the final say. And what kept me going, I don't know, it's just a survival instinct. It's just I think, and I'm not saying that I have it harder because I'm from within the film industry. I think there are struggles for those even who are outside the film industry, who have their own set of struggles. Everybody has their own set of struggles. So don't try and make it look like one or the other has it easier. Everyone has their own pros and cons to live with. And दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो ही जाता है at the end of the day.
But now have your choices like doing the scripts, you're doing this, you're writing, you just have not done direction, I think.
Yeah.
Someday we can see that.
I don't think so. I'm not inclined towards direction. No. Production for sure.
But what do you enjoy the most?
My acting job. That's number one. Then I would think about production. Yeah.
Right. From comedy to horror comedy, you know, how was it?
The first horror comedy I did was Golmaal again. But I was planning Lakshmi even before that, which is a horror comedy. The remake of Kanchana. From 2013 I was planning it. So it was the first horror comedy I have ever watched, the Kanchana film, Tamil film. And I was too excited to make it into Hindi because I was completely blown away by the genre. This horror movie and then this comedy also. Of course, we had seen Bhool Bhulaiya 1 before. But for many years, I saw this film and I decided to make it. So it didn't seem like I was jumping into something out of something that I wasn't comfortable doing. I wanted to make it because I was so amazed by the film. So it was a natural progression into horror comedy.
But if you could share some behind the scenes with the Shreyas, which made you laugh out loud, you know?
Kap Kapi, yeah. That was the most recent horror comedy that I did was Kap Kapi. And my character is an unusual character. He comes into this house later. The character is introduced in the second half. So these boys and girls have already been living there. So even off camera, I think मैं बाद में आया और मेरा उनके साथ घुल मिल जाना I think थोड़ा देर से हुआ क्योंकि वो लोग तो एक दूसरे को जान गए थे तब तक और वार्म्ड अप थे. तो मैं एक आउटसाइडर के तौर पर आया था एंड बहुत ही बढ़िया माहौल था. वी हैड डन अ वर्कशॉप अर्लियर फिल्म की शूटिंग के पहले, तो मैं थोड़ा बहुत जानता था उनको, लेकिन बहुत ही डिसिप्लिन था माहौल, मजाकिया था, डिसिप्लिन भी था. संगीत जी जैसा काम करना पसंद करते, पीसफुल, हैप्पी गो लकी, वैसा माहौल था. And Shreyas I've worked with before, but I have a very different rapport with him in this film. I am not a partner in crime with him. I have my own thinking, I have my own weirdness, and I have this bizarre traits जो इन लोगों को चौंका देती है और उनको सोचने पे मजबूर करती है कि ये मतलब सुधरने आया हमारे यहाँ, लेकिन ये हमें ही मतलब बिगाड़ रहा है, हमें ही डरा रहा है, ये क्या चीज़ है. तो वो जुगलबंदी थी हमारी इस फिल्म में. सो वी हैड अ डिफरेंट इक्वेशन. सो इट वाज नॉट लाइक वर्किंग ऑन गोलमाल और वर्किंग ऑन एनी ऑफ दोस अदर फिल्म्स दैट वी डन टुगेदर.
Absolutely. You know, I wanted to ask, how did you see your journey now after from starting your film मुझे कुछ कहना है to now? How do you see it? Have you evolved as an actor now?
I haven't really analyzed my journey that seriously. I've learned a lot along the way, and I was to be very choosy earlier, and I realized that okay, those films didn't work. I did the right thing by not doing those films, but इतना क्यों सीरियसली लेना अपने आप को कि आप मतलब किसी भी गलत फिल्म का हिस्सा बन नहीं सकते. इट्स ओके अगर कुछ फिल्में गलत भी आ जाती हैं, एटलीस्ट यू आर इन द ऑडियंसेस आई. सो आई हैव लर्नड that the old school way of working, wherein people used to just go to work every day, is also a good way of doing it. And you didn't really have that pressure of, oh, so and so will not like my film, or I don't want to impress, I want to impress this target audience, and I don't want to just make a film that caters to this target audience, and I want to set a benchmark for myself. Why take yourself so seriously? I think I've realized that I think there are all kinds of films that need to come out, and if you do good work, people will appreciate you. Don't worry too much about the success or the failure of the film and who likes it and who doesn't like it. It's about doing good work and doing your best.
But was it because of pressure?
Not pressure, the times were changing. When I came, it was just about the turn of the millennial. Multiplexes had just come. So the pressure came from no one particular person or no one particular entity. It came from a change in mindset that everything had to be, everything had to now cater to the multiplex audience, or everything had to now like the bar had been raised in the sense that you had to evolve in a manner wherein you're impressing the more evolved sensibilities. You're not just entertaining people, and that was a bit confusing for us. Ki should we make films that are entertaining, or should we make films that people who understand the finer aspects of filmmaking would like? So we were in between these two mindsets and trying to struggle and trying to find a path between these two mindsets. So I think it's important to block the noise. I've understood that, and now it's important to do good work, selective, but it's important to do more work. It's not good to be coming less often, because I think the fans want to see us more often, and life is short. Yeah, you should keep working and you should keep enjoying yourself.
But I want to ask, it's been over 2 decades of yours in an industry. So I want to say, have you seen any changes have been done and which is going on for good reasons in front of you?
Yes, the changes are good. Cinema going experience, I think, as I said, with the multiplexes coming in, it's a very, very comfortable experience to go and watch a film in the theatres. And we have bound scripts now. We are more organized, and with the pandemic coming in, I think the budgets have gone tighter also. So we are adapting to changing environmental circumstances and to the changing scenario. OTT has come into the picture. So a small films that doesn't get a level playing field in the cinemas now has an opportunity to make a hit film just by the OTT viewership. So the journey has evolved. The journey of a movie has evolved from just being dependent on how well it does at the cinemas to now being able to see it run and reach its audience through various mediums. So that has changed also. It's constantly changing.
But what's the change you are not liking at all? Any changes you don't like these days happening in the industry?
No, I don't. I think it's just that I think the people have lost the habit of going to watch films in the cinemas. That has changed. So even though there is OTT to fill that vacuum, but at the end of the day, we want cinemas to run. We all want people to go to the cinemas, and that's our bread and butter, and that's where a film really becomes more popular. Of course, TV, satellite, OTT, it's all good, but that box office validation, that is what we all crave for at the end of the day. So if people don't go to the cinemas, I think we'll be okay, but it's not as fun as it was before.
But do you think there's a lack in script, or there's a lack of talent? Because people these days don't go to cinema. And I was talking to many of the actors in the past. They were also saying कि काम भी थोड़ा कम हो गया है. I don't know why.
I think there is maybe a downturn in the industry because we are evolving and understanding the audience taste and understanding what to make. Everyone's being careful, which is good. So we have to go through this correction. Like in stock market का correction होता है, हर industry का एक correction होता है. And हमें भी I think हमारी correction phase से गुजरना होगा ताकि हम समझ सके कि अभी going forward, what is the way forward? And it'll settle down, it'll fall into place. We just have to be patient.
Absolutely. We'll quickly play a short game. So it's just a actor's name and you have to describe them in a word. So from your first film, Kareena Kapoor.
Confident.
Isha Deol.
Easygoing.
Okay, Jeena Sirf Mere Liye. Malika Sherawat.
Ambitious.
From Khaki, Amitabh Bachchan.
Game changer.
Ajay Devgan.
लंबी रेस के घोड़े. Yeah.
Ritesh Deshmukh.
Sweet.
From Good Boy, Bad Boy, Imran Hashmi.
Professional.
Sanjay Dutt.
Very chilled out.
Okay, the last one, Shreyas Talpare.
Buddy.
Thank you so much for talking to me. It
My
was
pleasure.
lovely talking to you.